Okay, I've tried this 6 times and I haven't been able to get in under 15 minutes, so I'm going to go fast. Here's what I decided to do. It's 5:40 on Tuesday, September 3rd. Hopefully in a few hours I'll have had a nice nap and wake up without a spleen. That is the hope. And I started to make a video to thank all of you who have been there for us through this whole journey. But the problem is when you name names, invariably you're going to leave somebody out. And you all have meant too much for us, for any of you to think that we don't love you or thank you for everything. There are some groups of people that I'll say thank you real quick, and then I'm going to tell a story, and after I get out of surgery, I'll make videos and say thank you to everybody. That's the plan. I want to thank my family and everybody who's been here week in and week out, family and friends. My Aunt Lynn Louise, who's over 80, who I never knew cared the way she does, week in and week out, with things to make me smile or a prayer or just being there. Because there are blessings to be found everywhere in your life, no matter where you are. Of course, my family, the people who work with Scott, your like family. Diane, all the Taters love you. Everybody I ever worked with, Kim, I'm so glad we've been able to get back in touch, and Sally and Katrina and Tammy who prayed through your own heartache. Everybody who we've ever known or loved, I thank you. And for the block drives. Some of you I've never seen in real life, and I may never see on this side of heaven, but you've been friends true to me this whole time. Of course, the originals with Phyllis, my stranger friend, Petra, the goddess of all things, who has planned and done and been there through it all, and I love you both. And Christy, I was so glad to finally meet the girls, and Bobby and Shannon and Mike and Bubba Lou, my brothers, Terry, Beth, all of you guys. Barbara, I love you all. And I hope you know how much I do. Of course, for Sharon, who has been my cheerleader day in and day out, and I love you so much. And Tina, who, despite her own things that she has on her plate, she still takes time to understand what is perfect, practical or impractical that we need, whether it's brownies for the boys or making wood nickel mushrooms appear in my room from 1,000 miles away. I love you, and I love Brooke and your mama, and I can't wait to see you again. And then there's Jeanette Barber, who I would call a friend, but that wouldn't be enough, and a sister wouldn't even cover it. It feels like we've known each other for all time, and the thing I know is between her and Tina, they've been here for me day in, day out, week in and week out, in the middle of the night or at 12 noon, they're here no matter what, and reminding me that I'm strong enough to fight another day. And so I'm going to tell you a little story. A few weeks ago, on a Tuesday night, they were trying to get me, the insurance was wanting me to move possibly to a nursing home type place that was about an hour and a half away, and of course it upset me. And when the doctor came by and told me it was late, and I just couldn't bear to tell Scott, because when you have a wife that's sick, well, it's broken his heart, I know, in a million big and small ways, and I just couldn't bear to do it again. And so that night, Jeanette and Tina pulled me through, and as I was lying in this hospital bed with the lights off, I began to pray, and I told God that, I had promised him from the beginning that no matter what he sent my way, I would continue to give him thanks and praise. And I told him that I wasn't changing. I would hope that he knew, but I promised him that I would never change. But then I also said, God, all of these people have loved me and prayed for me and cared about me for so long. Hasn't it been enough? Has it been enough time? Can you honor their prayers, please? And about that time, there was a shift in the room, and I could feel it, and I knew something was going on. And the other prayer I prayed was to make it, if he was going to do a miracle, to make it big enough that nobody could deny it. And about that time, I could almost see it felt like light left my body. And that night, I think I got the first good culture that I'd had in months. And I continued to get them, not all clear, but more clear than I'd had since I'd been here. So the next week went by, and on Tuesday, something happened with Jeanette that she thought was going to be terrible, and it ended up okay. And I said something about it being a miracle. Well, she said, I vote that from now on, all our miracles happen on Tuesday. A few more things happened, and about 2 weeks later, somebody came by my room, and she talked with me and prayed with me. And at the end of the prayer, I realized it was Tuesday. And I also know that that was the day that some things started changing around here. And I'm not going to mention names because I don't know that they would want them mentioned. But the next day, this person's son came by, and he's a young man, 19 or 20 years old. I don't remember. And I'm not going to even say his name, but we were talking, and he was at the corner of my room, and in the middle of me saying something, I could see a change in him. And he stopped me, and he said, I just feel like I need to pray for you right now. And I said, come on. And he came over, and by the time he could hold my hands, tears were running down both of our faces. And as he began to pray, I could feel a change in me. And I knew that something was different. And I know miracles aren't always what we expect them to be. Sometimes they show up at our door in a completely different form. And so I'm thankful for all of them. But then last week, whenever the surgeon came in and told me that he would operate, he said that he would plan it for September 3rd. I immediately texted Jeanette, and right back I got, huzzah, September 3rd is a Tuesday, and I hadn't even looked. And I said, huzzah, indeed. A miracle's got to be coming. And what I know is that a miracle isn't always what we think it is. But I know at some point I'll be healed. And it may be here on earth, or the answer may not be. But the thing I know is that if they take me in there, and the next time I open my eyes, that I'm at heaven's gates, the thing I can tell you for sure is that I'll be healed. And it's an overwhelming thought. And there are lessons that I've learned in this whole ordeal. And, the thing is, I know that faith and fear can't exist in the same part of your heart. And neither can love and hate. And I hope at the end of my life there's more faith and more love than there is fear or hate. And I know that I love all of you guys so much, and I'm so thankful for every one of you, because I know that no matter what storm you're going through, I've been through a good bit of storms lately. I've had to climb a few mountains, but the thing is, when you know who made the rain, and you know who made the earth, you know that you can make it through a storm, and you can climb any mountain. Because to think that the God of the universe couldn't take away an infection if he wanted to, would put a limit on how amazing God is. And that's what I know. When I think about it, it brings tears to my eyes, and it's not tears of sadness. It's tears of being overwhelmed by the love of so many people. Love that I never deserved. Never. But love that came my way just the same. And some of the hardest things that you go through in your life, you think they're struggles, but I gotta tell you, they're blessings. And the thing I know for sure is that God has a plan. Tyler came in this week and told me that they had stopped at church service and prayed for me. And I said, Tyler, I always appreciate prayer. I said, but you know what I think and what I know. And he said, yes, ma'am. And I said, yeah. I said, God knows how this is going to turn out. He already knows. Tyler said, you know what, Mama, you know that, and I know that. But it makes everybody feel a whole lot better if they remind God how they would like for him to work in this. And I said, yes, it does. I said, Kid's got a lot of wisdom. Because God knows. And the healing that we think might happen may not be the one that God wants. But what I know for sure is that if I have experienced this kind of love in a world like we are living in today, that's full of hatred and evil and love, there's still so much more love than there is hate. And if I could be so blessed by love in this world, I can't even imagine what it would be when I walk through heaven's gates. And if that's where I wake up in the morning, I just want you all to know that I'll be waiting there till I see you again. And I want every one of you to know that you've meant something to me. And it would probably be a good time to tell Scott McIntosh, thank you for never wavering, for my family, for never giving up. Thank you to all of you who have become my family. I will see you on the flip side. Goodbye from Mama Mac. I love you guys. Always.